Hello, my dear friends. I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'd like to talk about how we can improve our focus, especially about the ADHD people, and any solution that works for ADHD people can work for distracted mind as well. At first, I'd like to talk about some of the fundamental concepts that are really crucial for understanding this tutorial, and then I will dive into what ADHD is and what ADHD is not, some of the common myths about the ADHD, and finally I provide you some practical and science-based solution how to improve your focus. So this video is a summarized version of another video from Dr. Andrew Huberman, and because of the lack of time, I didn't focus any other materials in this scope, but it was very complete and comprehensive. It's almost 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is very long lecture, but it's complicated and with so many science words, and it could be complicated for you. So I try to make it simple. So just let's get started. Before diving into the solution, I like to provide you some important concepts that we have to understand, because these are practical when we want to use actually solutions, and it can provide us a more insight about ADHD and lack of focus ability. So the first thing is attention. Attention means what you choose to perceive from all other sensory inputs around you. So it's important that you are selecting what you perceive, what you want to receive from your environment. And focus is sustaining your attention on a specific task, on a specific goal. So ADHD people have problem for sustaining their attention, or we can call it focus. So another important concept is impulse control is constant distractions and urges. For example, checking the phone or scrolling the Instagram Explorer, that we know that it generates so much artificial dopamine. Hyperfocus is another important aspect, and there is a very common myth among the people that they think that ADHD people cannot focus at all, but it's not the case. It's not true. They can focus, or I can tell you that they can focus intensely only for the activities that are highly stimulating, like video games. This is why that you see so many teenagers and kids with ADHD that they just wanna play video games because they are highly stimulating. They can release so much dopamine in their brain, so they can highly focus on that. Or even some of the movies, like action movies. Just suppose that I am showing you an image and I'm asking you to find two important persons with some features and characteristics. And I know that you saw this kind of asking question, for example, a person with these features or another thing with other features. And the real point behind attentional blinks is that you cannot focus on two important things at a time. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you find the first important thing in that image, and we can call it Waldo, and you forget or miss another important person or thing that you had to find out. This is attentional blinks. And this, unfortunately, is higher in ADHD people. They have more attentional blinks, so they overfocus on one thing and they miss first parts. Working memory, you can assume that this is online memory. Some of the information that are accessible real time, you can access it right now, okay? And people with ADHD, they have deficit working memory. It's not working well just like other people. And time perception, another important aspect, that people with ADHD underestimate how long tasks take and they procrastinate until the last minute. But if they will be put under pressure, for example, meeting a particular deadline, they can focus, or when the consequences are clear and visible. Maybe some of you are looking for neuroscientific explanation. There it is. I'd like to talk about dopamine. I know that, again, it's another belief among the people that they think that dopamine is only about pleasure. But we know that the dopamine is not just about pleasure. It's about focus, it's about motivation, and it's about focus as well. Another wrong thought about ADHD people is they have very high level of dopamine because they are sometimes you see them very hyperactive, but it's not the case. They have low dopamine base, and dopamine is a conductor that helps the brain to switch between tasks. And it's really important. So because they have a problem with dopamine release, in order to regulate those circuits, they have a problem for focusing. And it's ended up with neural circuits. We have two important neural circuits. We have DMN, or we can say default mode network. That is when you are doing nothing, especially, or you are in resting, I don't know, you are daydreaming, you are self-wondering, you are not doing something special. So DMN is active. And task-related network is when you're focusing on a particular task. So you need focus for that specific task. And in normal brain, there is no correlation between two networks. One is on, another is off. One is off, another is on. Okay, so they are switched correctly, and when they need focus, they focus. When they need rest or doing nothing, they just do that. But in ADHD people, unfortunately, this switch between the circuits, it doesn't work correctly. What do I mean by that? I mean, DMN is always active and doesn't allow, which is TRN, to be activated, so they cannot focus. So these are the fundamental concepts that I like you to know about them. The next part is what is ADHD and what is not ADHD. I know that you got familiar with ADHD with my explanation, but let us to recap again. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition with strong genetic roots. So if you have a parent with ADHD, or your twins, some of you has ADHD, or relatives that are very close to you have ADHD, it's probable that you will have ADHD too. And characterized by difficulty sustaining attention, they cannot focus, the word that I can tell you. They have higher impulsivity, so they distracted very easily. Poor time management, they underestimate how long the tasks take. And working memory deficit, the online memory doesn't work very well. And there are so many common myths about what ADHD is not, and unfortunately it's due to the lack of knowledge about this scope. ADHD people lack of intelligence, or they have very high intelligence. So there is no correlation between intelligence and ADHD. So lower intelligence doesn't mean that you have ADHD, or in reverse. ADHD people are all lazy. No, it's not the truth. They have dysfunction in their brain, especially about the switching between two important networks. So it's not about laziness. ADHD is just for the kids. No, again, it's not the case. And we know that the ratings are increasing, unfortunately, especially in adults because of the modern technology like smartphone. ADHD caused by sugar or screens alone. No, it's not the case. Sugar and some of the special foods or sensitivities to some foods, they can just worsen the symptoms, but they are not the major cause or the roots of the ADHD. ADHD people cannot focus at all. Again, it's not true. They can hyperfocus only on the tasks that are highly stimulating. No, medication is not dangerous if it's under supervision by an expert and the dosage is regulated through the treatment. It could be very practical. And ADHD can be eradicated. Unfortunately, no. The only thing that for now we can do is just improve the symptoms, but we cannot eradicate it. Okay, now let me talk about evidence-based solution. I know that from the first moment of this video, you were looking for the solution. I'm so sorry for postponing to this part because other parts were so crucial for understanding these parts. So evidence-based solution. The first part is a medical treatment. It should be under supervision, and some of the people, by just reading some papers or articles, they think that they are expert to diagnose themselves or their friends or their family, and then they prescribe for themselves. But it's not the case. It's not good at all. It should be examined and should be prescribed by experts like physician, like neurologist, and etc. So medical treatment like Ritalin, Adderall, or Modafinil, they are very practical, but again, they should be taken under supervision. And what they are doing actually, they are regulating dopamine and norepinephrine, that they actually increase this level in order to be able to switch between two different networks that we already discussed correctly. Diet and allergies is another aspect that could be very practical, and we can pay attention to them and be careful about what we are eating. For instance, we can eliminate sugars entirely because we know that sugar can worsen the symptoms because of the dysfunction that they make for dopamine release. So by actually dysfunctioning the dopamine release, it somehow disrupts this network. So it's better to eliminate sugars. And there are some foods that might ADHD people are allergic to or have sensitivities to them, so it's better again to remove them entirely. And daily usage of omega-3s could be useful too, but please, as much as you can, try to take them under supervision. There are some of the supplements that are supportive but not curative, like omega-3s. They can just improve something, and it might be something like this, that they can indirectly improve some of the symptoms. So they just have some indirect effect on ADHD, like phosphatidylserine, alpha-GPC, and L-tyrosine. They can modulate it, okay? But again, so it's really important to be taken under supervision. I know that some of you might be boring, or you're just saying that, oh my goodness, I should see a doctor. Yes, of course you need to see a doctor if you think that you have ADHD problem, but there are some solutions, more solutions that I will provide you, that you can do them by yourself, not just by seeing a doctor. But seeing a doctor, of course, it could be very effective. Please don't underestimate it. Another important aspect is open monitoring and 70 minutes focus fix. So we can call it interoception, don't worry. It's just to listen and feel internal body sensations, okay? How you are breathing, okay? To just pay attention how you breathe from your lung, from your mouth, and you just feel the air that's going through your body, and some of the sensation that you have. Okay, I feel like something on my thigh, I don't know, on my stomach, on my skin, and all of this is internal body sensation. And I know that you might it might remind you about meditation, and of course it is. So doing open monitoring, it means to extend your sight to more horizon instead of just focusing narrowly, in order to improve your focus, okay? And meditation is another important part that you have to consider if you have ADHD, or you think that you have so many, I don't know, distracted mind. It could be very useful. So don't underestimate meditation as well. You can do it in your home, and of course it can help you for improving the symptoms. Blinking and visual focus training. Maybe you just surprised that blinking resets time perception, and people with ADHD blink more. And there's a practice that you can do. Just place something near, mid, and far away yourself, and just do it for 1 or 2 minutes in order to somehow train your focus from different distances. This is very practical. Please don't underestimate it. This one as well. Another is the pile system organization. ADHD people organize this by using pile. I mean, stacking items over each other. It doesn't make sense for other people. It just makes sense to them, but it doesn't work for them. Instead of using this kind of pile system and organization, I know that ADHD people, they can be distracted very easily, or they might forget it, and they don't have very high capacity of working memory. So it's better they use external system like calendar, like reminders, like timers. These are very practical, and they can empty the working memory, and they can shift their focus from something that they wanted to focus to something that they have to focus. For example, oh my goodness, I shouldn't forget that I have to go to the gym at 5 p.m. So I just set a timer for 4:30 p.m., for example, or 4, and then I can do my important stuff right now. So it's just emptying the working memory. Fidgeting and physical movement. Fidget toys, foot tapping, or pacing can burn off the restless energy. I know that they feel some like they have to do something physically. So it's important that please don't stop them from doing this. If they are foot tapping, is absolutely fine. They are just burn off the restless energy, and they can focus more. And something that's very, very, very crucial, and I don't know how to say how much is important, and there are so many studies that support this. In general, don't use a smartphone too much, or don't overuse the smartphones, because the smartphones is constant context switching and they generate artificial dopamine and norepinephrine in your brain, which is not useful, and the time of reaching to the reward is very short. It's not practical, and I guarantee it would destroy the people's life. So based on these studies, teenagers should spend less than 60 minutes on the phone per day, and adults less than 2 hours. If it's more than this, it of course leads to ADHD symptoms. So please limit how much you're scrolling, how much you're using your phone, and please just let it go when you don't need it actually. And there are some of the applications that we can use them, and for example, if it triggers more than 60 minutes or 2 hours, they just kick you off and it don't allow you to enter anymore. And the last solution, transcranial magnetic stimulation, with combining technology and pharmacology and even behavioral strategies. I know that you cannot find this kind of treatment easily because these are very modern way of treatment, but for those who are curious about the future, I just wanted to put it here in the description. TMS technology is non-invasive magnetic stimulation through skull, increase or decrease activities of neurons. So it's important, for example, if they want you to focus on a particular task, they can just stimulate that part in your frontal cortex in order to be able to focus on a specific task. It's just like working as dopamine. So it's very important, it's very exciting that they are doing this. During the treatment, it's really important that ADHD people do focused learning tasks. So it's just not about stimulating, it's about doing something as well. So we have behavioral therapy as well. We have to teach the brain, and the brain has to learn how to focus. And future direction is combining drug treatments, technological treatments, and behavioral paradigms. So we covered the basic concepts about attention, focus, and even ADHD, and what are the problems they have. And we characterized by these features, and these are the common myths that people consider for ADHD people. And finally, some of the practical solutions that you can use in order to improve the symptoms. I like to review one more time. Medical treatment, please under supervision, and find out the diet and allergies, and they have to be eliminated from the diet and from the daily consumed. And some of the supplements, again, could be useful, but I suggest you to be done under supervision. Open monitoring and meditation, blinking, with very very easy practice by shifting focus on near, mid, and far away from your eyes. And the PI system, instead of using PI system, we can use calendars, organizers, and different external systems. And fidgeting and physical movement, and even it's useful during surgery that they are foot tapping in order to remove the restless energy and they can focus better. And a smartphone, please, less than 60 minutes phone usage for teenagers, and for adults less than 2 hours. And finally, we have the transcranial magnetic stimulation, combining technology and pharmacology and even behavioral paradigms. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Love you. Bye bye.